In the dazzling world of Elvis Presley, where lights blazed and music filled the air, few saw the hidden struggle that supported the king's spectacular performances. It wasn't just about the sparkly suits and the golden voice. There was a darker, more personal fight that Elvis faced daily. Those close to him, especially his medical advisor, had to navigate a labyrinth of concerns, not just about Elvis's health, but about the very fabric of his support team. Elvis's entourage knew about the strict rules around medications. Anything not prescribed by their doctor was strictly off-limits. Yet some of Elvis's closest associates found it hard to adhere to these rules. They believed they could keep their drug use hidden, but the reality was far more complex. Elvis, ever the boss, had clear expectations. If the crew wasn't performing, it wasn't just Elvis's career at stake, it was their jobs too. Among those who struggled were a few of Elvis's associates who battled with alcohol, marijuana, and street drugs. Elvis, in his wisdom, would have terminated their employment immediately if he had seen any signs of substance use while on the job. These individuals thought they could keep their habits under wraps, but the tension was palpable. They believed they were sneaking around unnoticed, but Elvis's world didn't work that way. Dissension was not tolerated, and those who sowed it were quickly let go. A turning point came when Elvis's crew began to communicate more openly with him. If a pilot or someone from Elvis's inner circle needed to reach him urgently, they did. Packages brought to the office were a clear sign that something was up. Elvis's use of drugs, though sporadic, was a reaction to stress. Stories of his experimenting with street drugs were unfounded. What was true was his reliance on substances as an escape when pressures mounted. Elvis viewed his medical advisor as a go-to person, not just for medical issues but as a confidant. This dynamic was akin to that of a parent who, despite being out of the loop, holds the key to understanding their children's lives when they're away. The advisor's role was crucial, acting as a bridge between Elvis's need for confidential help and the necessity of maintaining a clean image. As the years rolled on, Elvis's public image remained unblemished, but behind the scenes, the battles continued. Elvis's annual New Year's Eve plans took an unexpected turn. Instead of the usual party, he chose to perform in Pontiac, Michigan, aiming to break a record. The event was monumental, drawing 62,500 fans and grossing an astonishing $800,000, a feat unmatched by any solo artist at the time. Yet, Elvis's nerves were on edge. The fear of losing his voice haunted him, leading him to insist on bringing a throat specialist to ensure his vocal cords were in top shape. The specialist, Dr. Fred, arrived with a calm demeanor and a set of tools that seemed almost magical to Elvis. What seemed like an elaborate ritual to the king was, in reality, a skilled doctor performing his job. After a brief examination, Dr. Fred eased Elvis's fears, leaving the king ready to dazzle the audience. Though Elvis's performance was flawless, the media focused on a different incident. He had split his pants during the show, a common occurrence due to the demanding routine of acrobatic moves. Elvis's vacation in Vail, Colorado in 1976 marked another chapter in this ongoing saga. It was supposed to be a relaxing getaway, but turned into a mix of fun and medical interventions. Elvis insisted on bringing his inner circle, including his girlfriend Linda Thompson and her friends, as well as Edna and the author of this account. The vacation house was a sprawling retreat with fireplaces and panoramic views of the slopes. Linda Thompson's presence brought warmth and joy to the group. She was a generous spirit who spent time teaching the author's daughters how to make snow cream and playing Monopoly for hours. Elvis, ever the entertainer, launched into what the girls called Elvis's life lectures, sharing wisdom about staying away from drugs and the value of living life to the fullest. However, tensions rose when Edna fell victim to a severe migraine. Elvis, ever attentive, insisted on helping, leading her to his bedroom where he attempted to alleviate her pain. The scene was intense, with Elvis's desperation to help only making Edna feel more uneasy. It was a stark reminder of the complexities hidden behind the king's charismatic facade. This period in Elvis's life was marked by a blend of public triumphs and private struggles. As the world celebrated his achievements, those closest to him knew the real battle was fought in the shadows. The king's story was one of extraordinary talent and resilience, but it was also a reminder that even the brightest stars face darkness. Elvis Presley, the iconic king of rock and roll, had a unique way of making people feel at ease, even when they were unsure of what was happening. One chilly morning, as Elvis massaged his friends, he moved from their foreheads to their necks and shoulders, all the while reciting Bible verses. His sincerity was so real that it was hard not to laugh at the absurdity of the situation. "How are we doing?" he asked, just as the sound of a knock at the door interrupted. It turned out to be a curious moment. Elaine, his partner, was in the room with Elvis, and when asked what was happening, she lied, saying everything was fine. She didn't want to hurt Elvis's feelings or ruin the moment. It was clear she knew he wasn't actually helping with her migraine, but she didn't want to dampen his spirit. The line about going home seemed to signal something was about to change, just as a knock at the door suggested. Elaine's quick thinking and kindness saved the moment. She told Elvis she felt great, even as she knew he was still massaging them both. Elvis, ever the showman, pranced around like a proud boy after getting good marks on a test. He bragged to everyone about curing Elaine's headache, which, while not entirely true, was a testament to his charisma. As Elaine and her husband Dean packed for a trip to Memphis, Elvis included Dean's girlfriend, Linda, and even offered to bring some of Dean's wives along on the return flight. It was a typical Elvis move, always thinking of ways to include people and make them feel part of his inner circle. Dean, however, chose to bring his dog Missy, a 6-month-old Saint Bernard, instead. Elvis was thrilled at the prospect of a new playmate for the dog, and soon they were all heading to Memphis. Elvis had a reckless love for speed, enjoying anything that moved fast. His morning routine involved snowmobile rides up ski slopes, despite warnings from the parents of his young fans. Once they were caught trespassing by the police, but Elvis, ever confident, flashed his badge, turning the situation around. The police let them go, and Elvis's reputation as a fearless leader only grew. Another incident involved a dangerous game with discs that resembled giant garbage can lids. Elvis loved the thrill of speed, and the girls, being daring like him, joined in. Dean, however, was not as reckless and nearly got hurt. Elvis's concern was genuine, but he also had a knack for making light of serious situations. When Dean needed painkillers after his accident, Elvis not only gave him some but also kept a supply for himself, showcasing their close bond. After Dean and the others left for home, Elvis decided to join Linda, who needed to be in Los Angeles for movie auditions. Dean was upset, but Elvis's decision was clear. On their way to the airport, Elvis stopped by Graceland to award special gifts to Elaine and Kissy, his daughters. These 14-karat gold necklaces, adorned with a tender loving care logo, were usually reserved for his closest allies. Elvis made them feel like part of his special group, and the girls proudly wore their new treasures, eager to share their unique connection to the king. Elvis's actions, though sometimes misguided or exaggerated, revealed his genuine care for his friends and family. His ability to make people feel valued and included was a significant part of his charm. As he prepared for his tour, these moments with his inner circle highlighted the personal side of the legendary Elvis Presley, beyond the flash and glamour of his public persona. As time went on, Elvis's life took some tough turns. After finishing his busy tour schedule, he found himself in Tahoe, performing a simpler Elvis in concert show, mostly just one show each day, save for Friday and Saturday nights when he played two. Tish Henley, a good friend, took his place in Tahoe, managing his rigorous schedule. She recounted how exhausting it was, always on the move, with little time to relax or explore. Despite the hard work, she cherished the time with Elvis, calling it the best period of her life. As the tour wound down, trouble brewed behind the scenes. Elvis grew tired of some bodyguards who were still acting aggressively, despite previous warnings. Tensions rose when some bodyguards got into legal troubles due to fan incidents. To address the situation, Elvis asked Vernon to take action. Vernon fired 3 bodyguards without explanation, citing cost savings. However, this led to misunderstandings, especially when one fired bodyguard later claimed Elvis had fired them for confronting him about drug use. Elvis was hurt and felt betrayed when he learned about a plan exposed by the fired bodyguards, titled Elvis, What Happened? They claimed to write it to save Elvis from himself, but Elvis saw it as a personal and professional attack. Meanwhile, Elvis and his friends were involved in a business venture, creating a chain of racquetball clubs. They wanted to turn racquetball into a popular sport, not just a game. Elvis was excited to be part of something new and thought it could help grow karate and other martial arts too. The plan was to build facilities in Memphis and Nashville, with Elvis's name helping to attract investors and members. After some discussions, Elvis agreed to join as a 25% partner, without giving any money up front. They planned to lease properties initially, using membership fees to pay rent. However, things took a turn when one of Elvis's aides told him that the money was being spent too freely. Specifically, it was claimed that Mike McMahon had bought an expensive car and hired an overpaid secretary. Elvis was furious and ended his involvement in the project, demanding his name be removed. He believed McMahon was misusing the funds. When McMahon reached out to clear the air, it was explained that everything would be fine once Elvis returned to Memphis. This incident highlights how misunderstandings can grow into bigger problems, especially when emotions run high. Elvis, known for his kindness and generosity, became upset over perceived dishonesty. His friends tried to mediate, but the damage was done. Elvis's involvement in the racquetball venture ended abruptly, leaving him feeling betrayed. Elvis's life continued to be a mix of music, tour, and personal challenges. His dedication to his art and friends remained strong, even in the face of adversity. Yet the shadow of distrust and conflict affected him deeply. As he navigated these tough times, it became clear that even the most vibrant stars faced darkness, reminding us all of the complexities of fame and friendship.